one they're in, to our class. Okay, let's start with conversation. Alright, so how would you say hello? Shalom.
Shalom, yeah.
So far we're going to learn more ways to say hello. My name is Ani, and then whatever. Who are you, male?
Who are you, what?
A male, if it's a male.
Me and Tom.
Me is ha. How about a female?
Miat.
Miat.
Mm-hmm.
You remember nice to meet you? Naim meod, naim meod. Now, today we're going to learn how are you, okay? So we can use that here, right? So, this is sort of, like a slang. This is not technically word for word, how are you? I'm going to tell you what it word for word means, but ma, right? Nish, ma, manishma, manishma. So this is basically, how is your soul? Okay? Or what is your soul? That's right. Ma is what? Ma is what? What is your soul? In other words, what's your soul like? So this is sort of a slang, but we kind of say it's like, what's up? Manishma. So you hear that a lot. The other one is a little bit harder to say, is the masculine and the feminine. I tried, when I first started speaking Hebrew, over and over to say it, and I always would get it confused with the masculine and feminine, so this was the easy way. Manishma, because it's not masculine or feminine, just what's up, basically. Manishma.
Is niche the soul part?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Niche is the soul.
It's part of, that's part of the soul. Nefesh. Nefesh is the soul. Okay, so tomorrow is Rosh Hashanah. How do you say, have a good year? Shana Tova or Shana Tova. That little song I sent you, I think they said Shana Tova. So, either way, how do you say to a good year? La. The L is usually to. La Shana Tova. And the sweet one. Umetuka. Umetuka. La Shana Tova Umetuka is to a good year and a sweet one. And that's why we do what? Eat apples and honey and yeah, we're gonna have a sweet, prosperous. Apples, I think, represent prosperity. Have a prosperous good year. Okay, so every time we'll just add a little bit, a few little words. This is not really a conversational class, so we're just doing a little bit. All right, let's do some review. We're on lesson 5. Yay! You're reading a lot of words, though. You feel like you're accomplishing something? Pretty good at it? All right, let's do Bet, Sheen, Bet, Resh. Now, if you want to write it on a board, you don't want to write it on a piece of paper. I always have these little boards. All right, who wants to come up and do it? Who feels brave? No? No? No?
Your stems.
Okay. No, sorry.
Yeah.
She wants you to do.
Cursive.
Of course.
Can we do the two of them?
Okay. Oh, she's writing the word bet. She's right. She wrote
Going the extra mile.
Bet.
Going the extra
All right,
mile. Huh?
Jean, which side?
Right.
Right.
Top. Bet. Should be a little more rounded there. Going too fast. And rush. Okay. So, something like that. The faster you go, it's going to look more like they do in Israel, because just like when we write, it's
It's just a squiggle.
That's my name.
Yep.
All right. Next, we're going to do some words, and you're going to transliterate them. I'm not real good with the spelling of them yet. I mean, I could spell them if there were no vowels, but putting the vowels in, I don't. I think that was. Oh, that's because it's Tav. That was last time. Alright, there's a few. Alright, does anyone want to come up and do the first one here? Or you can just tell me if you don't want to come up here.
R-A-T-A-T.
R A T A T. And how do you pronounce that? Ratat. Ratat? What about the second one there? Shabbat. After a while, you're going to get to know that one for sure without the vowels. You won't have trouble with that one. What about this one? D A T. Dot. And this one?
Darash.
Darash. Darash. Remember the rash? Especially if you're Hispanic, you don't have any trouble with it, but it flips. It's not really a but it's a
Sometimes.
So it's more like at the top of the mouth than we do. But it's not a big deal because they're going to know we're not native Hebrew speakers anyway. So. But I do have some of my Israeli friends, they would tell me that you speak very well. That makes me feel good.
Mexicans say the same thing.
They were nice. They were being very nice.
Yeah.
Alright, today we're going to do two more letters, no more vowels. So we're still doing 3 vowels. We're going to do Lamed and Mem. Now, on your papers, I've been doing a little bit of study on the letter itself because I just find it interesting. I'm not into numbers and letters and all their meanings. And I mean, some people they go back to the ancient Hebrew and this is the way it was. And so I'm just giving you a little tiny bit. If you'd like to do that, that's fine. I have enough on my plate. I don't need to go that far, but there is some meanings, underlying meanings to some of the letters and some of the numbers. You just need to be really careful because in my, 2 congregations ago, my first congregation I went to, I was finding some of the people were getting into Kabbalah because it dives deep in the hidden meanings of these things. And so Kabbalah is mysticism, and you don't really want to go there. So I think maybe that's one of the reasons I don't do a lot with it, but I thought it was interesting to do a little bit. Everything that I've gotten is from Hebrew for Christians, so I kind of feel safe. A couple of times they did say, this is what the Kabbalist says or something, and I didn't even put that down there. So, all right, so let's look at Lamed. Lamed originally meant to prick, sting, incite, or goad. As a shepherd might guide a sheep. So, you swat them a little bit, that's gonna sting, right? Or prick it, move on, move on, move on. Sheep are very stubborn, from what I hear. Does that remind you of anything? Human beings are very stubborn, and they're not very smart. I mean, they're not real trainable. The only thing that sheep do, of course, most animals are good at this, but sheep know their shepherd's voice. So like you could have 1,000 sheep and you only have 2 of them. If you called out to your sheep, those 2 would come to you. Okay, nobody else would come, just those 2. So in that way they're very smart. And what does the Bible say? What's a verse that comes to mind when you know that? My sheep hear my voice, and they come to me. So, yes, so that was interesting. The Hebrew name of the letter itself, this I found interesting. Lamed comes from the root lamed, which means to learn. Lomed, if you say, hu lomed, he learns. Hu lomedet, she learns. So lamad would be the root of teach or learn, teach or learn. The sages teach that the spelling of Lamed is an acronym for lev is the heart, melvin, understand, dadat. Okay, it's a heart that understands knowledge, da'at. Da'at is knowledge, melvin is understands, and lev is heart. And it's all on your paper. You don't really need to write anything down, but it's all there on your paper. All right, mem is one of the letters that has a different ending. So with mem, you have one letter that's inside the word, and then at the end of the word, it has a different letter. It looks different. It's totally different. When you do the alphabet, they'll just, you have to have both, 2 of them, okay? So let's look at how we do the cursive. Lamed, I love Lamed. I think it's just the prettiest of all the letters. And, of course, when they do it fancy, they'll do all kinds of stuff with it because it's just a fancy letter. To me, it kind of looks like a Christmas tree ornament, something you're going to put on the Christmas tree. But I think it's pretty. And it does kind of look like a shepherd's crook.
Musical letter.
Musical letter. So what is its transliteration going to be? L. And it sounds L. All right, mem. Well, I like doing mem. It looks like an N, but you're going backwards. Remember, in Hebrew, you go from right to left. So most everything that you write is gonna start at the right side. But this one, they start at the bottom. I don't know why, but this one, you're going that direction. Here again, if you're writing, nobody knows if you're doing it correct or not. It's sort of like the sheen, remember? It's really from the bottom, but if you do this way, you really can't tell the difference. So, we're not in a class where you're gonna get graded if you do it backwards or not. Just so long as you're not like my granddaughter who has dyslexia. Everything's backwards. Her 5s, her 2s, her 4s. I don't even know how she does it. And she's a beautiful artist. But, all right, and so on your papers there, we have just the letters under it. Mama me, la la le. Okay, then you have some practice on your paper. So, let's look at page 31. Now, they're going to start giving you some vocabulary. We're not really concentrating on the vocabulary. There's a few that I will have on your papers because they're so common and they're so used a lot that you probably need to know what they are. For example, the first one there on 31 is bar. So everybody knows that bar is sun, okay? So, you know, like, you see it in scripture, Bar Jonah, okay? Bar Jonah would be what? Son of Jonah. Now, we've started learning in advanced Hebrew that the reason it's an R and not a ben is because you put a resh sometimes before of, or a tav before of too. So anyway, it's son of, okay? Shar is sings, but sar is leader. Mar is Mr. Never heard anybody use that, but I don't even think that's in biblical Hebrew. I've never heard of that one, but Tamar, okay? Tamar is date, but Tamar is also a woman's name in the Bible. Okay, so let's go to the next one. The thing you need to remember is to look for the number of syllables. And how do you know how many syllables? The vowels, okay? Each vowel is going to have its own syllable. And then that right now, most of the words are going to be emphasized on the second syllable. Not all of them, but you're probably 90% correct if you put it on the second syllable. Pretty soon when we get a new vowel, we're going to find why some of them are the first syllable and not the second. So, all right, do you want to help them with?
We're going to start with
6.
Okay.
6.
Alrighty, Effie, you want to start?
6. Well, I thought it was shesh, but he seemed to say says.
No, it's shush.
Shesh,
Right.
right?
Yes, you're correct. Okay, yes.
I'm sorry. No.
We're here?
Oh, okay. She said, okay. Chef.
Chef. Mm-hmm. And this would be shet. Shet. Yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Before we go on, we're going to look at shet.
Okay.
Okay? Because we kind of talked about this. We kind of talked about this last week with the tav. Alright. Alright, so this is SH, this is E, and this is T. So, or is it, wait, Is it S or SH?
It's SH.
It's SH. Okay. So because this doesn't have a dogish, that's why it went from shet to seth. Now why it didn't have an H in there, maybe it was hard to say, sheth. So they just made it seth. But that's why, remember, when there's no dogish, they used to transliterate things with a TH. Okay, but you still say shet. But it's Seth, it's the name for Seth.
The real name is Shet then?
Huh?
The real name is Shet?
Yes. Same thing with root. Yes. We say Ruth with a TH, but it's actually root. Okay? Because the t is a hard sound and the th is the soft sound. So without the dogish, it's a TH, but they've kind of done away with that in modern Hebrew. Now in biblical Hebrew, they probably still have, I don't know, well no they don't have, I don't know if they have the dogishes in the Torah. I have the Torah at home, I'll have to look and see. But anyway, that's the difference, sorry.
Okay, you ready, Chris?
Latat. It's latet.
Yes.
It's the S sound with the two dots. Latet.
D.
Okay, this is Sharet. Sharet.
Yes. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm waiting for her to translate.
Okay. All right, go ahead. But yes. Okay.
But, so if you want to say, if a boy is having his coming out, what do we call it? Bar mitzvah, because that's son of the commandments. If a girl's coming to her age, bat mitzvah. And mitzvot are commands.
Ready, Effie? Right. Yes. Okay, Elizabeth? Okay, this one? Yes. Yes, correct. Okay. Yes, Rabbi. Okay, Rabbi. Ready?
Where is that?
It's that last one on the third row, on the third line.
Okay. That's Shabbat.
Shabbat? Yes. Okay.
Ron.
Yes, Rabbi. Okay, no problem. I'll put it next time. Okay.
Oh, with the word alphabet.
Fine. Okay, yes. Okay, that's good. Yes. You got it? Sean? Excellent. Effie?
Sas.
Sus, yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. Dabak. Yes. Okay. Crystal?
Shavar.
Yes. Dean?
And this is Shatar.
Sure. What is that? This is a name, so it's
Oh,
Shamar.
Shamar. Okay.
Okay, Shamar. Okay.
Shamash.
Okay. Okay.
Lavash.
Lavash, yes. Krista? This is a vet, so it's gonna make the V sound, so Levav, yes, excellent, Levav. Okay, yours is a little bit hard. Levav. Because these two are vets, so it's gonna be Levav. Okay, yes. Excellent, in the heart. Okay, Crystal?
Mamad.
Yes. Okay. Dini?
Mashal.
Mashal, yes. Excellent. Okay. Madeline? Okay.
Farad, yeah. Garage.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, good.
Awesome. All right, Effie, last one.
Oh, I thought I heard the last one.
No?
Okay.
Effie, Stephanie.
Dabar.
Daber, yes, Daber.
Daber,
Okay,
Daber.
Daber can speak. Mhm.
Speak.
Okay.
So I thought maybe we would talk about something real quick, since it's kind of short today. The return of the red heifer. Y'all know about that? Okay. So where did they get the red heifers? Anybody know?
Texas.
Texas! That's right. Yay, Texas. Anyway, I've learned some things about it that I hadn't known this week. Just listening a lot to the Temple Mount Institute and what they're saying and everything, I didn't realize it. First of all, I thought the red heifer had to be born in Israel. So I looked it up, and the Orthodox Jews do believe it really should be born in Israel, but they're so rare that they tried, I don't know if this was a family-oriented thing, they tried to send sperm and stuff over to Israel, but it never really made it, I guess, the heat and all that sort of stuff. It just, anyway, yeah. Anyway, they tried that way, and that didn't work, so. Anyway, there was a man here in Texas, I heard his testimony. He said that his dad had always felt like they should raise red heifers. So they went to Colorado one year, and he brought back this red heifer, and they've just felt a call to try to, and he's a veterinarian, so he was able to, because apparently, you know, you have to cull the herd and find the best ones and mate those, and it's taken a lot of years for them to get these, but they finally got them, and they found, does anybody know how many?
3,
Five.
5.
Oh.
5 of them, so, and they shipped them, and they, from here to Texas, I think they went by train or truck, I don't remember, but they didn't fly. They took them to New York, but when they got there, it was too hot for them to fly. So they had to wait a month. They sent them up to Maine or somewhere where it was cooler and everything. So then they sent them back down. All this time, they had to be kind of quiet about everything, and they weren't able to really tell anybody, because you know what the news would do,
Right.
and somebody might, you know, disrupt their plans, and because it's a miracle that they even get to take them over there, because U.S. will not send agriculture to other countries, and Israel won't accept agriculture from other countries. They just won't do it. And so it was a miracle that they were able to do it. So anyway, then they sent it over, and I can't remember what day, Thursday last week, I guess it was, they finally got there. So they had this big ceremony, and everybody's, you know, happy and everything. So do you know why they're so excited about having these 5 red heifers?
One of them has to be perfect.
Right now all 5 are perfect.
And I knew when I was there in '96, they had one there, but it had some issues with its eyes, so it was just.
Yeah, they can't be deformed or have any sort of ailments, or, so anyway, they have 5, but I thought, you know, they were going to use them right away, but no, they have to be 3 years old. But of course, you know how Jews do. I hate to say it, but that actually means 2 years and a couple months, because, you know, they say at conception is when the, you know, day starts. So so they said, yeah. So they're only a year old. These red heifers are only a year old. So we have 1 more year before we have to wait to see if they're perfect, because they still could get a gray hair or something in there and not be perfect. But the rabbis are really happy because they have 5. So the probability of maybe having 1, all they need is 1. and they can have the ashes of a red heifer. So they take the ashes, they take and sacrifice the red heifer, they take the ashes and they put it in water. And what is this supposed to do? What does the Bible say the red heifer is supposed to do? Ashes of the red heifer.
Purify the priest.
Purify the people that are, yes, because, you know, everybody, they believe that just being like, okay, let me go here and so you'll see. They needed a high priest. Apparently they have one. They need a high priest. But the child cannot be born in a hospital because a hospital has dead people. So even though the child would not be around a dead person, they would be around a dead person because there would be somebody dead in the hospital. So the child cannot be born in a hospital. There's all kinds of things that the child has to be raised in a, you know, Orthodox home. It has to know the scriptures. It can't be in public school. All this sort of thing. So apparently they do have a high priest. The high priest only has to be over what age do you think?
30.
No, 18?
12.
12. All he has to have had was his bar mitzvah. As long as he had his bar mitzvah. I don't know who it is. They didn't say who it is, but from their conversation it sounds like they had one. So, I mean, he could be in his 20s, he could be in his 30s. I'm just saying that the qualifications, they had to be at least bar mitzvah. Anyway, so, but just being in the world, they've done him around dead people. So you have to have the ashes of a red heifer to sprinkle on the high priest and the priests that are going to be in the sanctuary. Now, there have only been, I think they said 6 perfect red heifers from the beginning of time that they've recorded.
Wow.
Only 6. So this would be the 7th. So that to them is even more significant. This would be the 7th red heifer. And apparently it lasts a really long time because it sounds like they don't need any more. So if they find one, they got it made. So anyway, so they have at least a year to wait until they can build the temple. But as you know, Temple Mount Institute has everything. They have the Sanhedrin, they have the priests, they have everything for the temple. They have the temple, it's prefab, it can be built in how many days? 3 days. You put it up in 3 days. Now, they believe that they can't put up the temple until somebody has to come. You know who? The Messiah. They believe the Messiah is the one who will. Now, he's not going to go and build it himself. They don't believe, because they believe their Messiah is an earthly person. They believe that he will assist or manage to convince everybody that, you know, there should be a temple on the Temple Mount. So they're looking for the Messiah, which is going to probably be the Antichrist. But they think he's on the scene. They think he's here because, like I said, they think that within the year or a year from now, they're going to have this all ready. Now, something interesting that I found out, remember in the 68 war, I guess it was, when they took over the Temple Mount? Mm-hmm. They gave it back to Jordan to control. Do you know why? Because the Orthodox said they cannot establish dominance over the Temple Mount until the Messiah is here. And the Messiah wasn't here yet. So they couldn't take control of it because there was no Messiah. So they did it for the Orthodox Jews. Because they didn't want to make the Arabs mad, of course. They didn't want to make the Orthodox Jews mad. So there was very few people that were like, yeah, go ahead, take it.
How are they going to get it back?
Messiah. The Messiah.
He's the only one that can do it.
He's gonna, well, we know the Antichrist is going to be very manipulative and have
negotiate, right?
Right. So I'm thinking he's got to at least be Jewish in some way, not necessarily practicing Jew, because let's face it, a lot of Jews aren't practicing, but. So anyway, I just thought I'd share what I kind of learned about the red heifers, why they're so excited,